Kanyam Dola Kese Rapone, Tamesum the Tony Robson, Ponsum Shishu, you what Tinjan Shagatola Chaselo. With salutation to Lord Buddha. Good morning, respected friends from Goa Museum, distinguished guests, dear brother and sisters, Tashidelek. I stand before you not as a director of the Tibet Museum, but as a Tibetan refugee. And today, I would like to speak not in the language of policy and the politics, but in the language of memory. Our exhibition, Refugee, Resilience, Right, the Tibetan Story, is not simply about history. It is about human endurance. It is about what remains when everything else is taken away. In 1959, my people crossed Himalaya on foot. They left behind land, homes, monasteries, fields, and family graves. They carried almost nothing. Some tsampa, a few prayer beads, perhaps a small image of Lord Buddha. But they carry something far heavier, responsibilities. When His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama arrived in India, he did not arrive as a leader seeking the power. He arrived as a refugee seeking refuge. India, the ancient civilization, opened its arms. And in the foothills of Himalaya in Dharamsala, a government in exile was formed, not to reclaim land through violence, but to preserve a civilization through compassion. As a refugee, we lost our country, but we did not lose our conscience. Being here in Goa feels meaningful. Goa is a land shaped by tides, by arrivals and departures. For centuries, it has known traders, colonizers, missionaries, migrants. It has known Portuguese rule, and it has known liberation. It has known what it means for identity to be challenged and yet preserved through music, faith, language, and community. In many ways, Goa understands us. Like Goan culture, Tibetan culture survives through rhythm, through song, through rituals, through everyday practices. You hear it Goan Mando, and we hear it in Tibetan opera. You taste it in your coconuts and rice. We taste it in butter tea and sampa. Culture is not preserved in museum alone. It lives in kitchen. It lives in festivals. It lives in children's laughter. That is the resilience. When we speak of refugee resilience, we are not romanticizing the suffering. Exile is not poetic. It is uncertain. It is bureaucrat. It is waiting in lines for documents. It is rebuilding from zero in unfamiliar condition. Tibetans who came in India were high altitude nomads, suddenly living in a tropical heat. Farmers become sweater sailors on Indian road. Monks rebuild monasteries from muds and memories. And yet, within one generation, we established schools, settlements, monasteries, culture institute. We create Tibetan children village. We rebuilt great monasteries like Sakya Drepung Ganden in exile. We printed books in our own language. Why we did that? Because His Holiness taught us losing our homeland should not mean losing our humanity. He often says, "My religion is kindness." That simple sentence has guided us entire refugee for more than 6 decades. This exhibition that you see here not only about victimhood, it is about agency. When you see Tibetan passport in 1940s, when you see currencies, stamps, and photographs of nomads, image of invasion, stories of escape, you are not just seeing artifact. You are seeing evidence that identity can survive in displacement. You are seeing a people who refuse to disappear. Refugee resilience is not loud. It is patience. It is a grandmother teaching her grandson Tibetan alphabet in small settlement in Karnataka, Belagopi. It is a young Tibetan in Delhi speaking Hindi, English, and Tibetan, navigating three worlds at once. It is monk debating philosophy in monasteries rebuilt from scratch in South India. Resilience is a culture continuity without territory. But resilience alone is not enough. The theme also speaks about rights. To be a refugee is not only to survive, it is also to assert dignity, the right to language, the right to religion, the right to memory, the right to return, the right to tell one's story. Museum plays a powerful role. Museum is not a storage room, it is a moral space. It asks who has the right to narrate story, who has the right to be visible. At the Tibet Museum, we believe memory is the form of resilience. When facts are distorted, artifacts speaks. When narratives are silenced, photographs testify. When a culture is commodified, lived object restored context. And today, in collaboration with Museum of Goa, we bring this testimony to you, not to accuse, but to share, not to divide, but to connect. There's something deeply spiritual about this collaboration. Goa carries centuries of layered faith tradition. Temples, churches, mosques standing within kilometers of each other. Tibetan too is a civilization rooted in spirituality. But His Holiness has transformed that spirituality into something universal. Secular ethics, compassion, beyond religion, dialogue instead of conflict. Even in exile, He did not teach us hatred, He taught us responsibility. He could have called for revenge, instead, He called for non-violence. He could have asked the world to choose sides, instead, He asked the world to choose compassion. That moral clarity is perhaps Tibet's greatest gift to the world. As a refugee, I often reflect on one question: what is home? Is it a territory? Is it a passport? Is it a memory? For the Tibetan, home is something portable. It is exists in prayer flags that's tied in Ladakh, in Tibetan school assembly in Belagopi, in the small momo shop in Majnugatila, Delhi, in a child in Switzerland learning Tibetan on a weekend. Home is where dignity survives. And today, for a moment, Goa become our home. When we walk through this exhibition, I invite you not just to observe, but to listen. Listen to the silence between the photographs. Listen to the footstep crossing the Himalayas. Listen to the rebuilding of monasteries brick by brick. Listen to the quiet strength of community that choose compassion over bitterness. The Tibetan story is not only ours. In the world where displacement is increasing, where identity are threatened, where refugees are politicized, our story asks a simple question: can suffering produce wisdom instead of hatred? His Holiness believe it can. And the belief that shaped the entire generation of Tibetan born in exile, people who have never seen Tibet, yet carry it in their language, their song, their ethics. That is the resilience with responsibility. Let me end this with a powerful quote from His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama. Never give up, no matter what happens. Never give up. For the people in exile over 6 decades, this is not just a slogan, it is a daily practice. We have not given up on our culture, we have not given up on our non-violence, we have not given up on our hope. And as long as hope lives, resilience lives. Thank you.